The rain was pouring heavily as Daniel Hayes drove through the quiet streets of the city. The windshield wipers moved rapidly, but his thoughts were elsewhere, on business meetings, profit charts, and deals worth millions. He was a self-made millionaire, known for his sharp decisions and emotionless nature. But on this night, fate had other plans. As he approached a red light, something on the side of the road caught his eye. A young woman was sitting on the cold pavement, completely drenched. Her clothes were torn, her hair stuck to her face, and in her arms was a tiny baby wrapped in a thin towel. She wasn't begging. She wasn't asking for help. She was just there, silently protecting her child from the storm. Daniel stared at her. Memories from years ago came rushing back when he was just a boy, homeless, hungry, and hopeless. For a moment, he saw himself in her eyes. Without thinking, he pulled over. He stepped out, ignoring the rain soaking his expensive suit. He approached her gently. "Do you have anywhere to go?" She looked up, startled, her lips trembling. "No." He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small silver key, and placed it in her hand. "Take this. It's the key to my old house. No one lives there. You and your baby can stay there. It's warm, safe, and dry." The woman looked at him in disbelief. "Why would you help me?" Daniel simply said, "Because someone once helped me when I had nothing." Without waiting for a thank you, he turned and walked back to his car. But what he would discover just days later inside that very house would shake his soul to its core. 3 days had passed since that rainy night. Daniel had nearly forgotten about the encounter until something tugged at him, curiosity. Or maybe something deeper. He drove to Willow Lane, a quiet neighborhood where his old house still stood untouched. As he unlocked the door and stepped inside, he was surprised. The house wasn't a mess. It was clean, warm. The faint smell of soup drifted through the air. On the living room couch was the woman, fast asleep, the baby on her chest. Daniel didn't want to wake her. He quietly placed a bag of groceries on the table and turned to leave. But just then the baby stirred, letting out a small cry. The woman's eyes fluttered open, panicked at first, then recognizing him. "You came back," she whispered. "I just wanted to make sure you were okay," he replied. "My name is Lily," she said softly, "and this is Hope." "Fitting name," Daniel replied, glancing at the baby. "You've made this place feel alive again." She smiled weakly. "I was afraid you'd come and throw us out." "No," he said firmly. "You and Hope are safe here. But I do want to know, how did you end up like this?" Lily hesitated. Then, with tears gathering in her eyes, she began a story Daniel wasn't ready for. Lily's voice trembled as she spoke. "I wasn't always like this. My husband was a soldier. He died overseas just after I found out I was pregnant. I had no family. I tried to work, but no one hires a pregnant woman with no address. I ended up on the streets." Daniel listened in silence, every word striking something deep inside him. "Why didn't you go to a shelter?" "I did, but they were full. One even turned me away because of Hope. Said babies cry too much." Daniel clenched his jaw. "That's unbelievable." Lily shrugged. "I just stopped trusting people until you came along." Daniel stared at the small child sleeping soundly. "I wasn't trying to be a savior. I just couldn't walk away." Lily nodded. "You saved us anyway." There was a pause, heavy with unspoken pain. Then Daniel asked, "What would you do if you had a second chance?" Lily looked up. "I'd work. I'd build a life for Hope. I'd never go back to the streets. Daniel stood. Then let's find out if second chances are real. She blinked. What do you mean? I own a cafe chain. Come tomorrow. I'll train you. No favors, just a chance. Lily stared in shock, but Daniel was already at the door. Be there at 9. As he walked out, something about that house felt different. Warmer, hopeful, but still, he had no idea who Lily really was or the secret that would soon turn his world upside down. Lily showed up the next day on time, determined and full of gratitude. She learned fast, worked hard, and customers adored her gentle smile. Within weeks, she became a full-time staff member. Daniel would drop by often, observing her from a distance, watching hope grow into a healthy, happy baby. But one afternoon, as he handed Lily a new uniform, his secretary burst into the office. "Sir, I think you need to see this." She handed him an envelope. Inside was a photo of Lily, not from the streets, but in a luxurious gown beside a man at a gala. Daniel's eyes narrowed. Where did this come from? Her name isn't Lily Carter. It's Lillian Rose Montgomery, heiress to the Montgomery fortune. She went missing 2 years ago after a scandal rocked their empire. Daniel was stunned. Why would a millionaire's daughter be living on the streets? That night he went to Willow Lane. Lily was there, putting hope to sleep. He confronted her. "Is your name even Lily?" She sighed deeply, tears already forming. "I was going to tell you, but I was scared you'd throw me out. Tell me the truth." Now, Lily looked him in the eyes. "Yes, I'm Lillian Montgomery. I walked away from my father's empire after he tried to force me into a marriage with a cruel man for money. When I refused, he disowned me. I had nothing, no money, no ID, just hope, and no one believed me." Daniel stood in silence, processing her words. The beggar he had saved was an heiress in hiding. Daniel sat in silence. The storm outside mirrored the one brewing inside him. Lily stood before him, waiting. "You lied," he said quietly. "I didn't lie," she replied. "I just didn't tell you. I wanted to survive on my own. Not because of my name, but because I worked for it." Daniel slowly nodded. "I understand. But you should have told me." "I was scared," she whispered. Then something unexpected happened. Daniel smiled. "You're stronger than I ever imagined," he said. "And that's exactly why I want you to be part of something bigger." Lily frowned. "What do you mean?" "I want to open a shelter for single mothers, the homeless, those ignored by society. And I want you to run it. You understand them. You've lived it." Her eyes widened. "You trust me with that?" Daniel stepped closer. "I already do." Months passed. The shelter opened, Hope's Haven, named after her daughter. People came. Lives changed. And Daniel, he came by every evening. Not as a millionaire, but as a friend, a partner. Maybe something more. And one day, under a golden sunset, as Hope played in the garden, Daniel looked at Lily and said, "That rainy night didn't just change your life. It changed mine, too."